my lovelies, and welcome to my BookTube channel, The Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today we're finally going for my August wrap-up video. Yes, I'm trying to catch up to all the videos I missed out on doing during the summer holidays. So here we are, and I'm once again trying to record a video. My August was quite a good month when it comes to the books I read and to the readings, but I only managed to read 4 books and one of them was a manga. But yeah, we will just take it like this and count it as a book. I think mangas count as books as well, and literally no one can persuade me otherwise. Anyway, I read 4 books, a little bit less than I expected to read in August. After all, I had 2 weeks off from work, but turns out that is keeping me even more busy than when I go to work and do all the other stuff while I go to work. I don't know. It's not exactly logical. Anyway, I got my coffee at the ready. I got my cheat sheets. And yeah, I'm sorry if I'm itchy and scratch myself in the video. Allergies are still going strong, and the ragweed has no intention to leave anytime soon. So this is what we're working with. Okay, I got my coffee at the ready. I got my sheets, and let's do this. Let's talk about the 4 awesome books I read in August. And the first one was Icebreaker by A.L. Graziadei, or Graziadei. I'm still not sure how to pronounce this, but yeah, I absolutely loved this book. It was so good, literally so amazing. I rated it 5 paws, and it's basically a hockey story and a rivals to lovers story at that. Mickey is, I think he was the 3rd already, and he is kind of hockey royalty. His grandfather was an NHL player. His father is a legend, and he is supposed to step into his father's footsteps. Yeah, he is the only son his parents had. He has 5 bigger sisters, so the pressure is on. And Mickey is trying to get into the final draft and to be the first person to be drafted. But here comes the catch. There is another person who also plays amazing hockey, and it's Jason. And Jason is his rival. So those two, they can't stand each other. I honestly loved how the rivals to lovers arc was done in here, because those two, they can't stand each other. They legit hate each other totally. But they are not above finding each other attractive. They can at least admit that the other person is attractive and that the other person has some sort of charm to themselves. So yeah, those two don't like each other very much at the beginning of the book. But then they try to pull themselves together for the sake of the team, and they get to know each other better because they are dragged to lots of team activities outside of the ice court. Anyway, I loved this book so much. Their chemistry was really great. I love the arc, or the character arc, of both of them, because they are growing while they talk to each other. And yeah. Also, I absolutely loved that Mickey had a famous friend, and everyone thought that he was dating her. Also, the rivalry on display between Jason and him, and what happened behind the scenes was just great, amazing. And moreover, we had great representation. We had a lot of queer characters. One of his sisters is in a polyam relationship with two guys, and another sister is a lesbian and with her girlfriend. So I loved it, that this was totally queer, and I love myself some queer characters in books. And also the representation, the mental health representation at that, because we have an anxiety representation, but also a really well done depression representation. And yeah, I can highly recommend reading this book. It was so good, considering this was a first book of an author. I think I don't remember reading about any other books of that author. So yeah, this was great. It was really good and highly recommended if you like books with a mental health representation and rivals to lovers, but also hockey. It was a good combination, honestly. Okay, gonna take a sip before I cough here. The second book I read, which I rated 5 paws once again, was Death Note Volume 7. And I honestly, since we're already at Volume 7, I don't want to spoil anything. But suffice it to say that there are 2 new players that made an appearance in this volume. One of them is Mellow and the other one is Nier. I know, they have interesting names. Nier seems to be more the analytical kind of guy, and Mellow seems to be more impulsive and makes rash decisions, but they are also kind of thought through. Yeah. Anyway, those two are 2 new players in the series. Also, we had a little time jump right in the middle, so that's interesting as well. As for the author's choice, well, I know a lot of people weren't on board with the author's choice for this volume, but let me tell you, I really like it. It was something different, unexpected, not what you would think if you read the series. So for me this was great. I can't wait to read the next volume because we kind of lagged in the story in volume 5, but then volume 6 happened and now volume 7, and the story definitely picked up momentum once again. So I'm here for it, and yeah, I hope I will get volume 8 into my clutches soon. The only thing I will say, which is no spoiler, is that Misa is still part of the crew. Yeah, and like, quite honestly, that boy has such a really intelligent mind, I can't even. Yeah, those are the 2 things I'll say about this. No more, no less. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Psst. Okay, but if you want to discuss Death Note with me, you're always welcome to drop a comment and to talk with me about Volume 7 and the things that actually did happen in here. Okay, enough of the teasing. Let's get to book number 3 I read in August, and it was Gallant by V.E. Schwab. And I know a lot of people might not like this book or might not be entirely persuaded by this book, but I rated it 4 paws and I stand by that rating. I think if you're used to V. Schwab's usual work, you might either love it or you might not like it. It's more in the vein of the Near Witch, not gonna lie here, and I think if you enjoyed the Near Witch, then you might like this one as well, because it definitely has that mysterious vibe going for itself, where you don't know all too much, have millions of questions at the ending, but if you're just along for the ride, you will be happy. If that makes any sense, I don't know. Anyway, what is the book actually about? I think I didn't mention it yet. It's basically about Olivia, and Olivia Prior is a girl that was found on the steps of an all-girls school and was raised there her entire life. And she is mute, and due to that she gets into a lot of trouble in this girls' school because there are quite a lot of bullies and she tries to avoid them as good as possible. And then one day there comes a letter from her uncle who invites her to come to Gallant, which is their home. Yeah, a big manor, something like that. So, sorry, I just need a sip. And since there is legit no other option, Olivia agrees to leave Maryland School for Girls behind her and venture to the new house and home where family is waiting for her. All she has from her mother is a journal, and the things that are written in the journal kind of dive into madness the closer you come to the ending. So Olivia wants to find out what happened to her mother and why she ended up on the steps of Maryland's as a baby. And the problem is, when she arrives at Gallant, no one knows who invited her because her uncle is dead, and the only inhabitants of Gallant are Edgar and Hannah, who are the driver and the cook of the estate, and her cousin Matthew. And Matthew clearly doesn't want her there. So yeah, she's kind of sticking it out there, even though she knows she's unwanted. And there are mysterious happenings. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, Olivia can see ghouls. And I think in this book, ghouls are more or less ghosts. I think, because quite honestly, they always call them ghouls, but I think they are actually ghosts, because you can't touch them, they can't touch you, and yeah, they are just around in the house. A lot of relatives of her are in that ghoulish state. So yeah, there are mysterious doors, there is a mysterious wall in the garden, and it's all really sometimes kind of creepy. I personally love this story. I was along for the ride. I enjoyed finding out each puzzle piece and putting them together, and quite honestly, Grace, Olivia's mom, wow. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, that was quite a revelation. And I personally totally love this book. It's more or less in the vein of The New Witch. If you enjoyed that one, I'm certain you will love this one as well. Okay, so last book, another sip. And the last book I read in August was actually the only book I managed to read during my vacation, and it was They Hate Each Other by Amanda Woody. This one has been on my to-be read for ages, quite literally ages, and I decided during my holiday that I would just ignore all the books I'm currently reading and dive into this. Yeah, the mood reader in me was strong, and it's especially strong during vacations. Anyway, I decided I wanted to read that one. And I did, and I'm not mad about it. I rated it 5 paws, and I would have given it even more if possible, because it was so good. We have an enemies to lovers arc here, and we have Jonah and Dylan, and those two boys, they really can't stand each other. They are so, wow. No, they can't even stand in a room together without giving each other glares. Only problem is they are both best friends of the in couple at the school. So Jonah has a best friend and Dylan has a best friend, and those two besties are together. So they are kind of forced to be in each other's vicinity. Well, and everyone is giving them hell for their antagonism, and everyone claims they should be a couple because they've got chemistry, and they certainly don't see it like that. But then one night, Jonah is totally drunk and comes back to confront Dylan. He enters his room, and the next thing he's doing is that he's crashing in his bed. And Dylan won't have any of it and just lies down next to him, and they fall asleep together in the same bed. And after that, the rumor mill is going crazy, of course, and all the people in their school are giving them hell, so they decide they would start to fake date for a while and then break up so that they finally get the quiet they need. And it's so, honestly, the beginning of the book is so hilarious because they really can't stand each other. They hate each other's guts so much, and just to hug each other is giving them a rush, basically. So I loved that antagonism at the beginning of the book, but the more time they spend with each other, the closer they get and the more they find out about each other's life. And while Dylan is more on the rich kind of side of things, Jonah has to fight for, well, basically his life and the life of his sisters. So Jonah definitely comes from a poorer background, and Dylan has a rich background but parents that aren't that close to him. They both have very different problems, but yeah, I honestly, I loved Jonah so damn much. Every time he thought about his sisters as his girls, my heart cracked and broke. No, seriously, that boy, he was only 17 and he had so much weight to carry. I legit cried at some parts of the book because they hit so hard. And this book was so well done. If you liked the found family vibe and Neil Joston as a character from Ohba the game, then I'm certain you will love Jonah as well. But yeah, it was kind of tough to read. There are a couple of trigger warnings you should be aware of. I'm going to write a full review about this book and I will mention them in that review in the spoiler section. So there's that. But Dylan and Jonah, quite honestly, they are a couple that might live rent-free in my mind for a very long time. I honestly don't get why this book isn't hyped more. It is so good, really. I can highly recommend it. And this book is so good, but also heartbreaking, really heartbreaking. Yeah, okay. That's it from me. Those were the 4 books I read. Of course, I rated They Hate Each Other with 5 paws. I mean, quite honestly, what else? And yeah, I can really highly recommend to read that one. I had such a good reading month. I got to a total average rating of 4.75 paws. And this is, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, I would love to hear which kind of books you read in August. Did you manage to read more books than I did? The last couple of months I always managed to read 5 books, but yeah, being on vacation kept me busy, so I only managed to read 4 in August, but those 4 were great. Did you read any of those books already? And if yes, did you enjoy them or not? Which book was your favorite in August? I would love to hear about that. And maybe even which book was your least favorite in August. That would be interesting as well. Anyway, I think that's it. We are already at the ending of my video and there's nothing left to say except of take care, stay healthy and safe, and see you around the next time. Bye!